Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to study another crucial topic that is all about theoretical yield, practical yield and percentage yield. Now what is a theoretical yield? If I define you what is theory, you might already know that a theory is any thesis that proves anything earlier with the words, with the definitions, with the theory itself, with the classification of words is called a theory. And if I talk about theoretical yield, that simply emphasizes itself upon a chemical reaction. The chemical reaction can be anything, like literally anything. And the product of that particular chemical reaction is known as our theoretical yield. Now, what are the major differences in theoretical and practical yield? That is our question. Now, first of all, what is practical yield? Now, you have guessed already that anything that is done theoretically and we find product is known as a theoretical yield. Meanwhile, the practical yield totally goes in opposite of it. That says practical yield, that some amount of product reactant is used to calculate a product. Meanwhile, some some reactant is still remaining. Okay, some reactant is still remaining. We will discuss that at the end. But the practical work that you do after theory is known as a practical use. Now, if you take an example of a glass of a water, okay, let's just suppose you poured out all the water, okay, all the water out of the glass. Now, this is my water, okay, this is my water. You poured all the water out of your glass, okay, there's nothing, this is empty, okay, empty, okay. But if you have recognized at some point of your life, there are always few molecules that are like always on the glass. Whenever you drain out the water or pour in the water and again drain out, there are particular molecules of water, droplets of water that are still there, okay. And if they are being calculated, okay, how to calculate them? You can just find how much percentage it is. Okay, but before percentage, we would like to know about difference between theoretical and practical yield. Whenever we are discussing a theory, the actual value is complete. Okay, and whenever we are discussing about a practical yield, it's always a difference of maybe some molecules, some particles, some atoms, or whatever chemical reaction you are dealing with. Okay, there's somewhere a difference in actual and practical yield, not that much, but again a difference of maybe a theory and practical. As I just gave you an example, that I can give a theory of draining out of water from a glass, but again if I do that practically, I would not get the exact same amount, okay, exact that same amount that I just calculated theoretically. But practically there could have a change in it, and that change is known as um, a practical and theoretical yield distinguish. Now, what is a percentage yield? Basically, a percentage yield is known as like difference between uh, practical yield, okay, practical yield and theoretical yield, that is being multiplied by 100, and again you will have your answer as a practical field being done by a theory that is being multiplied by 100 to calculate its percentage. And I believe that's it for today's concept and theory of theoretical yield and practical yield. This was all about theory. We will look into numericals, and if I showcase you a proper definition out of it, okay, out of it, you can just check it out. That I taught you right now. Okay, we adopted an optimistic approach to the amount of products resulting from the chemical reaction. We assume that 100% of limiting reacting becomes product, but that's not the case. The amount of product as calculated from the balanced chemical equation is called a theoretical yield. Amount of product, okay, as I just discussed here, amount of product, okay, you can again see amount of product, a product that is being calculated is called a theoretical yield. Okay, and similarly there are percentage yield, uh, practical yields that aren't given above. Okay, you can just check it out here as well, how it is being utilized, and you can call it actual yield or the yield that you studied, that was practical yield. Both are the correct answers for it. Okay, we will see other MCQs in our next video. I believe that's it for today's video. Thank you for joining. See you tomorrow.